Who has the better rotation right now, the Mariners or the Astros? I'm going to break down that question today on Mariners Daily. Hi, everyone. How are we doing today? My name is Sam Edwards, the host here of Mariners Daily, daily Mariners breakdowns, deep dives, the good stuff. And today we are doing a direct comparison of the Astros and the Mariners rotations as of right now. I did want to break down their rankings from this past season just to give us a little bit of context. Now, obviously, the rotations are not going to be exactly the same, but I will say they are going to be uh, a little comparable, shall we say. Let's go through the Mariners rankings here first. Out of their rotation, they are fourth in innings pitched. As we all know, we trust our guys. We're tied for fifth with the Houston Astros in K percentage for our rotation. So we're already neck and neck, already off the rip, tied with Houston for K percentage, and that's fifth in the league. We were tied with a couple other teams in walk percentage, tied for third in walk percentage, not with the Astros, but we were tied with other teams. Home runs per nine, we did not do very well. We were 21st in home runs per nine, not fantastic. ERA was a 3.97 ERA, tied for 13th with, you guessed it, with the freaking Houston Astros. So very, very comparable in run prevention. FIP as well. We were 11th in FIP, which is it was a 402 team FIP for the rotation compared to the Astros, which was the 404 fit. So just slightly worse, just a little bit worse. The Astros, like I said, were tied in K percentage with Seattle, but had a 7.9 walk percentage, which was 18th. Much worse than the Mariners here. Now, WHIP is another important one that I think is important to compare. Astros were at a 1.23 WHIP, which was ranked 12th in the league, and then the Mariners were at a 118 WHIP, which was tied for fourth in the league. In the league, I should say, in the majors, I should say, not the league. Uh, yeah, it's the Mariners definitely have the leg up in the WHIP department, in the walks department, just base runners in general. Now, the point where the Astros take over is in the batted ball metrics. Now, like I said, with the home runs per nine, Mariners were at 132. The Astros were at 123. So Astros doing much better in that respect, and it translates also to the batted ball metrics as well. The Astros were elite at limiting hard batted balls. Exit velocity was second in the majors, an 88.7 exit velocity, an 8 barrel percentage, which was tied for fourth in the majors, and the hard hit percentage was ranked eighth with a 40.6 hard hit percentage allowed. Mariners are definitely much worse. The exit velocity was a 90.3 exit velocity for the rotation, which is 27th in the majors, not fantastic. Giving up some hard contact. Barrel percentage was 9.3. Barrel percentage that was tied for 19th. Not fantastic. And the hard hit percentage was 43.8%, which was 27th in the majors. That's not great. Only a couple teams worse than the Mariners in giving up hard contact. So I wanted to give that, that preface before we jump into this because I think it does set the tone realistically. I think um anytime you have something good, especially like the Mariners have a lot of things that are good on this team, it can be easy to overrate them. So I want to set the tone first before we jump into our pitcher by pitcher um breakdown versus whatever you want to call it. Let's start with the aces here. I would say as of right now, Brian Wu is the Mariners ace and Hunter Brown is the Astros ace. So how do they compare? Well, they're both very interesting pitchers. Both guys really rely on that four seam fastball. Wu and Brown are very comparable in innings pitched from this past season, very comparable in K percentage. Walk percentage is a big difference. Home runs per nine is a big difference. And yeah, just overall run prevention is a decent difference as well. Wu had 186 and two-thirds innings pitched this past season. The year prior, he was still extremely effective, but just pitched a lot less innings, 120 innings roughly in 2024. Brown was not as effective as his past season in 2024, but pitched more innings, 170 innings. So both come kind of with their marks against them. Wu has been extremely effective in his major league time so far. Brown has not always been this effective. Both are young guys. Wu is a little bit younger. Brown came up, had his first full season in 2023, which was not very good for him. Very high ERA, dancing around the fives, I believe. And Wu was not in the majors yet. So Brown had a little bit of a rough go, but now he's kind of come into his own at this point. Brown definitely takes it in the K percentage situation. He had a 28.3 K percentage. Wu had a 27.1. So comparable. Brown is a percentage higher, so I do give him that mark. However, the walks are very much in Wu's favor. Wu has a 4.9 walk percentage. Brown has a 7.8 walk percentage. And then the home runs per nine, excuse me, the home runs per nine is a big difference. And I honestly thought Brown was going to be higher here, but no, it's Wu. Wu gets hit a little bit, man. I mean, it's a 1.25 home runs per nine. He's able to get by with that just because he strikes out a lot of guys and he does not walk a lot of guys. So there's not a lot of people on base when he does give up home runs. Excuse me. But he limits all the base runners so that it's generally a solo home run. Brown had a 7.8 walk percentage, but a 0.83 home runs per nine. So we were both kind of dancing here. We're both kind of dancing. Now the thing with Wu here is that because he doesn't give up a lot of hits, the batting average on balls in play is not very high. It's a 238 BABIP, an 80.4 left on base percentage. Those are not bad marks, honestly. Like I don't think he's getting lucky or unlucky as of right now. Now FIP doesn't like him as much just due to his home runs that he gives up. FIP really takes into account K percentage, walk percentage, and home runs. And he has a 294 ERA, but a 347 FIP. So you can kind of see there how FIP is kind of shooting up due to the home runs. Whereas with Brown, he does have a higher walk percentage, which FIP is not a huge fan of, but obviously you'd rather walk the guy than give up the home run. That's obviously always been the case. Brown had a 243 ERA this past season and a 314 FIP. Hard to deny those marks. I mean, a 243 ERA is crazy. I mean, I'm so happy with the season that Wu did have. 294 ERA, 27 K percentage, 4.9 walk percentage. Those are great marks. But obviously, if you had to choose between the two, for me right now, I do think it is fair to say that Hunter Brown is the better pitcher as of right now. I'm sure going to have people push back at me in the comments. I'd love to hear why. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Brown has shown pretty consistently that he can perform. Wu just didn't pitch a lot of innings in 2024. Was that because he was in the minors? Probably. Yeah. So I just need to see Wu prove it. I need to see him prove it and show that he has a more consistent floor. And also, Brown would have to prove us wrong from this past season. Brown would have to prove that he is not this good, that he got a little bit lucky and maybe the home runs go up a little bit. But even then, the home runs looking at the past has not been that bad. Like even in 2024, the home runs were not a problem for him. Not as much as they have been for Wu this past season. So I'm really curious to see what happens going forward. I think as of right now, for the Aces, I do have to give the edge to the Houston Astros. I don't like saying it. I don't like saying it. It's a very close battle. It's not a clear cut case. I think it's Hunter Brown as of right now, but I'd like to hear what your thoughts were. I'd love to hear it. What do you got? I mean, the ERA and FIP difference just are it's too much, and Wu has his problems with the home runs. So, and it's not like he's terrible, but in comparison to like other aces, this is an ace that we're talking about. That it's high bar that we're holding here. Now we're talking about the mid rotation here. We're going to talk about the mid rotation, then we'll talk about the depth. right afterwards. Mid rotation, though, is an interesting situation. As of right now, I would say that Logan Gilbert slots in as our number two. A lot of people talk about him being our opening day starter. I could see that as well. Gilbert is freaking nasty, brother. Oh my gosh, 131 innings, a 32K percentage, and only a 5.8 walk percentage. I mean, those marks are better than Hunter Brown's, much higher K percentage, 4% higher, and an even lower walk percentage, 2% less. That is crazy. Now, the thing that gets Gilbert, which is the thing that gets most of our starting pitchers as of right now, is the home runs. We are so good at freaking getting the strikeouts, limiting the walks, but the home runs do get to us, which is great that we pitch in the park that we do, but we don't pitch in it all the time, and we're still giving up home runs. Gilbert had a 1.37 home runs per nine. Not fantastic. 3.44 ERA, 3.35 FIP. He's really freaking good. It just needs to stay healthy. And the same thing can be said for Kirby, who maybe isn't as good. Obviously, like a 26K percentage is not as good. 420, 4.21 ERA and a 3.37 FIP. I mean, I think the FIP definitely, I think that's where he is going to be closer to this coming season. But once again, it's all about the health. Gilbert and Kirby, are they going to be healthy? Same thing with Miller, but I don't even think I want to say Miller yet because we don't even know what we're getting with Miller yet. We got Castillo here still, who is Mr. Stability. He's kind of the opposite of Gilbert and Kirby in the way that we don't know how good he's going to be, but he's been good enough and he is gonna pitch. He's gonna freaking pitch. And with Gilbert and Kirby, you know how good they're gonna be. You know they're gonna be filthy to, varying degrees. Obviously, Gilbert is better as of right now, but we gotta see them be healthy, you know? Gotta see how healthy they are, but they're both really good when they're on the mound. And I mean, listen, 120, 130 innings, it's not terrible. It's not a totally lost season, not like, Bryce Miller, who we'll get to, I think, in the depth segment. But it's still not 150 to 200 innings, 150 to 180, I should say. 180 is kind of the new 200. Now, the Astros are kind of an interesting situation. Their depth is sorry, their mid rotation is kind of a hodgepodge here, but it leads the way with Tatsuya Imai, the new Japanese signee, who I think the Astros got at a discount because he does have to prove himself. He has not pitched in the major leagues, so I have very little to go off of. I've heard his fastball is decent. He throws it right around 94, 95 miles an hour. He can get it up to 98, 99 if he needs to. He has an interesting opposite moving slider, similar to Trey Savage, who is a guy on the Blue Jays that we faced in the playoffs. If you remember facing that freaking phenom starting pitcher, that freaking sucked. Imai is an interesting pitcher that I don't have, great analysis on. All I could do is point to his NPB stats and then also the projections that we have for him. This past 2 seasons, he pitched 2 full seasons this past year with 163 innings, with a 27.8 K percentage, a 7 walk percentage, a 192 ERA, and a 201 FIP. Now, obviously, the competition is not as good as it is in the majors, but it's still good. So I would say if you wanted to picture this like he was pitching in AAA, kind of, then I think that would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, Steamer projections. They have him pretty, I mean, I think they're pretty harsh on Imai. I honestly think he will be better than these projections say he will be, but once again, listen, I'm just a guy with a show, okay? I'm just handing you the news. Anybody can do what I do. I just put in the time to look up the stats. That's it. Steamer projections has him at 153 innings pitched, a 21.9 K percentage, 9.4 walk percentage, 1.16 home runs per nine, 4.37 ERA, 4.27 FIP. I think he's going to be better than that. I do think his ERA will be closer to 4, if not below 4. So I think he'll be better than this. But either way, that's kind of just all we have to go off of. He was extremely dominant in the NPB. So I'm curious to see what we get here. He is the huge X factor when comparing these rotations. However, even if he comes in pitching hot, man, I still think our guys can go up against him. Yes, I think he could technically edge out Gilbert if he pitches more innings, maybe, or just a slightly, limiting runs a little bit better. But even so, I still like our guys, and especially for I've just talked about Imai so far on the Astros. The rest of the mid rotation is not much to speak of. We've got Christian Javier, who has not pitched very much at all, just due to recovering from Tommy John surgery this past season. Only pitched 37 innings this past year. He was fine. I mean, a 4.62 ERA is not great, but a 3.65 FIP tells a better story there. He's been okay throughout his career, but he just has not been healthy, so I'm not betting on anything for him. Yeah, he's an interesting pitcher that I think could be like, an interesting option, but I don't think he's half as good as Kirby is, so let's pump the brakes here. Mike Burrows is another guy that they traded for. Um, from the Pirates. This past season was an interesting season from Burrows. Pitched 32 innings in AAA, had a very good K percentage at 31.5. We saw that dip quite a bit in 96 innings in the majors with the Astros, or sorry, with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a 24.1 K percentage. That's much lower, much more realistic, I think. A 3.94 ERA, even 4 FIP. So not bad. Almost 100 innings. That's not bad. I mean, like I think he'd be okay as like another number 4 option, you know? Um Obviously not as good as our guys, personally. Give me Castillo, or if you're slotting in Kirby as our number 4, which I don't know why you would. If Castillo is our number 4. Yeah, give me Castillo over Burrows every day. Burrows is an interesting pitcher because he has an elite pitch. His changeup is absolutely filthy. The only problem is that his slider that goes with it is not bad. It's not a bad pitch, but it doesn't get a bunch of swings and misses. It doesn't do like he's not doing the Logan Webb situation because his forcing fastball is not very good at all and it gets crushed. So, yeah, he's either going to have to figure out some other pitch to get strikes or just really lean on that changeup like freaking Nick Martinez used to do. Just really lean on that changeup, have that be your number 1 pitch, and just roll from there. Honestly, Luis Castillo used to lean on his changeup like that way back when, the good old days. Yeah, give me Castillo over Burrows. Give me freaking Kirby over Javier. And Imai versus Gilbert, honestly, give me Gilbert, baby. Gilbert, it has the safer floor. I honestly think he could have the higher ceiling. And maybe that's crazy to say. Maybe Imai technically has the higher ceiling, but I just think what what Gilbert has proven he can do in the majors performance wise is just elite. He's ready to be that ace for a full season. Oh my gosh, he's ready to break out. So mid rotation goes to the freaking Mariners in a landslide. And listen, I hope I'm not being terribly biased. I know this is a show for Mariners fans, but I really wanted to shoot this down the middle and make sure that I got everything covered in this episode. And to get everything covered, we got to talk about the depth. We've talked about the ace. I gave that to the Astros. I do think Hunter Brown, as of right now, is better. Mid rotation is to the Mariners, no doubt in my mind. Maybe a little bit of doubt because he might could be amazing. And Burrows, I guess, could figure something out, and Javier could be healthy, but those are so many coulds. And I think the Mariners are just so much safer. Give me them every time. Deeper rotation. Who has the deeper rotation to finish off this episode? It's a tough one because the Astros are coming into this season with the plan to do a 6-man rotation. So they are going to be kind of thin right off the rip here. They've got a couple names. Spencer Arrighetti is one, only pitched 35 innings this past season in the majors. Not that effective. 5.35 ERA, 5.54 FIP. We'll see what we can get from him. And I say we because I'm just talking about the Astros. I don't know. Ryan Weiss is the guy they signed from the KBO. Actually, he's been dominating the past 2 seasons. He was last in the majors with the Kansas City Royals. I was about to say Cincinnati Royals. That was weird. The Kansas City Royals, back in 2022, 2023, he was absolutely crushed throughout the minors, just could not get a handle on it. I don't know if he's made any changes since going to the KBO, but he did dominate in the KBO, which is obviously not as good hitting wise, once again, as the major leagues, but it is still good, and it's a good tester here, I guess. So this past season, 178 two-thirds innings pitched for Weiss, 28.6 K percentage, and a 7.7 walk percentage, 287 ERA, and a 323 FIP. Now, he only got a 1 year deal. So my guess is that he's probably not going to be that good. But he is a depth option and he is interesting. They also signed Nate Pearson to a 1 year deal. He's been slowed down as of late due to his throwing program that he's been dealing with. He's been dealing with elbow soreness, so he's been doing a throwing program after he underwent a cleanup surgery on his elbow this offseason. He's been a top prospect before. He's been, highly ranked before, but now he's kind of post hype at this point where he's got the good stuff, but just has not been able to be healthy to prove it. So we've got Arrighetti, we've got Weiss. Pearson is out of the picture as of right now. They also have Lance McCullers Jr., who I have no idea if he's healthy or not. He's pitched 1 inning in spring training. He's a guy that never seems to be healthy. And even when he is, he's not that effective. He's a guy that I used to be in on, but that was years ago. In on in terms of fantasy purposes. Yeah. McCullers is an interesting pitcher, but I wouldn't expect anything from him, honestly. And then I think that's probably where your expectations should be. They've got a young prospect in AJ Blueblow. Lubau. There it is. He pitched mostly in AAA this past season, 99 innings pitched. Was not effective. 5.27 ERA, 5.09 FIP. Then came up in the majors, pitched 9 games out of relief, 3 games he started, pitched a total of 32 innings in the majors, 169 ERA. That's not bad. But 442 FIP, I don't know how effective he's going to be. I mean, 99 innings of poor performance in AAA doesn't exactly fill you with excitement. Depth wise, the Astros have some names, but once again, like I said, they're going with the 6-man rotation, which I just think is going to hurt them a little bit. I mean, it's mainly because of Imai, who's, used to going every 6th day in Japan. That's just the way they do it. So, kind of tough for me to judge. On the Astros side, we know the depth options we're dealing with. It's Emerson Hancock, it's Cooper Criswell, it's, freaking Dane Dunning, it's Randy Dobnak, it's those types of guys. It's guys that, you know, are basically replacement level pitchers. That's it. You don't really want them to be, in the majors necessarily as of right now because none of them have proved anything. Now the difference here is that we've got freaking Bryce Miller, who yes, I put in the depth option just because I mean, as excited as I am for him, he's dealing with a little bit of inflammation right now. He finally got back on the mound on Sunday, so I'm very encouraged by that. But also at the same time, I am holding my breath because we'll see. The oblique inflammation, we need to wait for that to go down. We need him to rest and need to make sure that he is healthy for the season. And part of me feels like he's just not going to be ready and maybe just not pitch a whole lot of, maybe not pitch a full season as we're kind of hoping he will. But I do think when he gets on the mound and if we do it the right way and if he is healthy, then he will be dope. And I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I'm super excited. I think depth goes to the Mariners here just because of Bryce Miller. I mean, I think you can argue Bryce Miller is better and will be better than any of the guys the Astros have in their depth chart. Guys that they're going to be forcing to start every 6th day, pretty much. Guys like Arrighetti, Weiss, maybe McCullers, who knows? Maybe Jason Alexander is another option. He could be out of the bullpen, I guess. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, overall rotation, give me the freaking Mariners. I know. You're like, oh, of course, the Mariners guy chose the Mariners rotation. I think I played it straightforward. I think I shot it down the middle. I think we have the better mid rotation, middle of the rotation. I think we have the better freaking depth options as well. I think the only place the Astros take us are in the ace conversation. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you have a differing opinion, please let me know in the comments. If you agree, let me know. If you enjoy the show, if you don't enjoy the show, let me know in the comments, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Have a good one.